KHU11 Investigates is learning more about what police found inside the suspect Joseph Pappas's home.
Yeah, Pappas, of course, suspected of murdering Dr. Mark Hausknecht. Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogalski is here with more. So, Jeremy, what did you uncover?
Well, guys, this court document, the actual murder charge that we obtained, provides new insight into how just days after the doctor's slaying, the suspect, Joseph Pappas, was getting his final affairs in order. In the kitchen of his Southwest Houston home, Houston police found what purported to be the last will and testament of Joseph Pappas. Court records show investigators spoke with an old family friend who said she received a text from Pappas stating he was going to kill himself. The mother of that family friend also told police Pappas recently sent her the title to his vehicle and this, a property deed giving her ownership of his home. Pappas also told the woman he had a terminal illness, according to court records. Meantime, in the garage of the home, police recovered 3 boxes of .22 caliber ammunition, the same type of ammo used to kill Dr. Mark Hausknecht. And while police did not find the bicycle Pappas allegedly used during the shooting, investigators say they found documents showing Pappas planned to report the bike stolen and had removed the back seat of his vehicle, creating enough space to conceal a bicycle. And one more note, court records state that in the living room of the Pappas home, there was only one single piece of furniture, a chair that was situated in front of the picture window of the home with a view of the street.